Hey YouTube, Rico Knows here. So yesterday I got into somewhat of an argument, if you will, with one of these fan pages for Colorado. Shout out to T-Cal and CT the Fan. I think it's just two dudes sitting around and they're going to make something of themselves, right? So they made a platform about 3 months ago. They talk very positively about Colorado. That makes you a fan page. I don't give a shit about fan pages. I do what I do. Now, I made an assessment yesterday and I said, hey, listen, I know you guys just discovered Rashad Amos in the last 48 hours and you want to gas him because you saw a highlight tape on Twitter, but he's not that good. Like, go watch the film. And I got a retort back and he showed me a bunch of box scores. I'll be excited about this. And it was cordial initially. Then this kid here, T-Pain, this dude right here, T-Cal says, okay, Ricardo, called me Ricardo, which is absolutely racist. Call me out of my name. That's number one. Thought Rico was short for Ricardo. The nerve of these motherfuckers, right? So this guy says, hey, Rico, we break down film over here. You don't want none of this smoke, this, that, or the other. And it's laughable to me because you don't even know who you're defending. Like, you don't even know the player. You've never watched a single game of his. I've been following Rashad Amos since 2017, 2018. Like, I didn't just discover him because he's going to take a trip to Colorado. I didn't just discover him because he rushed for 1,000 yards at Miami of Ohio. I watched this kid play at Sandy Hook. Like, I watched him play. I say Sandy Hook, Sandy Creek. My bad. I didn't mean to make a joke about it. Please, everybody relax. But the point I'm trying to make here is watch the kid play at Sandy Creek here in Georgia. Thought he was an oversized back, a power back, and he had all these great promise. He went to South Carolina for 3 years. You still didn't know who the hell he was. Oh, but the film doesn't change over the last 3 years, he says. Okay, man, it doesn't change. But when you have a confirmation bias and you go out there looking for the positive and ignoring the negative, you're going to have these issues right here. So, yes, of course, the young man, Rashad Amos, gave these guys a shout-out on Twitter, and they're so excited. Oh, my God, yeah, he's rocking with us. He gave us a shout-out. Motherfucker, I talk to players every day, bro. I literally talk to a dozen players every day. Who gives a shit if he gave you a shout out? That young man's gassing you on some bullshit. So you guys go online, and I don't watch your content. Somebody sent me this clip. That's fine. Put my name in your mouth. Do what you do. Try to get your clicks up, bro. I ain't mad at you. Do you? But I'm going to tell you something. It'll be a long day before you get to 200,000. It'll be there ain't nobody rocking with you. 200,000? Come see me. But look. Here we go. This guy says in the comments here, Rico stated Amos fumbles a lot. Let's see what these guys had to say about it.
He said, it's funny. Rico Knows stated Amos fumbles a lot. That could be an issue. We break that down. See, that's the thing. If y'all not new here, y'all know I got receipts for everything. I don't talk just to talk. So we go in. Amos just addressed it on Twitter, and I got the clip to address it, and I got the stats to address it. So we definitely gonna get to that. Yeah, we about to get to the film. We just crossed 1,000 live viewers, so we about to get to the film. Make sure y'all liking, because that pushes out the algorithm, so we get more views and more people
our
see
algorithm, this. YouTube is tripping. Every time we go live.
Not like the
Appreciate getting us over that 1,000 though, man. You got 1,000 in here. We should not have no less than 1,000 likes on this. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's start getting to it. So we're gonna talk about it.
Introducing the Hide and Seek from Bellroy. A traditional wallet on the outside, it hides a few tricks on the...
Amos fumbles a lot. That's what I saw. Matter of fact, let's start here. I see a lot of Colorado fans excited about Rashad Amos. His highlight tape. Make sure you turn on the tape and watch it for yourself. This is a guy that has TV copies, doesn't have access. Anyway, he's not nearly as good as these clips. You can running back is one of the only positions that you can. That's probably the most accurate position that you can judge from not having all 22 film, and that you can't really fake a highlight tape for.
So first he said he doesn't have all 22 film. He only has TV copies, and then he backtracked and says, "Oh, you don't need all 22. You can evaluate a running back by what you see on TV, because everything you need to see is in the box." Right? You don't really need to see a receiver running his route out here or somebody on the opposite side of the hash doing something with the corner. Like, that doesn't really matter. Did you hit the right hole? Did you find the right gap? Did you see the right scheme, right? Okay, cool. Let's go on.
Like, when you run that's him doing that. Unless it's AI and they just made up somebody else doing that, that's him. He said he's not nearly as good as these clips. 400-yard games last season on a dominant team. Sure, he crushed UMass, Akron, Ohio, and App State. Go watch the App State game. He fumbled 3 times. And then he kept going, talking about how he had a fumbling problem. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the fumbling problem. These are his stats. I guess the fumbles didn't pop up. And I got up here. Fumbling. He had, before that App State game, ask me how many fumbles he had for the entire season.
Well, how many fumbles have he had for the entire season?
1. Ask me how many he lost leading up to that App State game.
How many fumbles did he lose? That's what matters the most. I don't care how many you have. How many did you lose?
It rhymes with hero and starts with the letter Z. Now
it rhymes with hero and it starts with the letter Z. Oh, let's say it. He had 0 fumbles. We pulled up the stats. I got receipts. They go on to show you a clip of Amos fumbling in the rain at the App State game. Now, if you guys know me, I'll put out a comment here and there to entice comments, right? I do this in my videos all the time on TikTok. I'll put an error in a video and get you guys to reply. I know Rashad Amos has fumble problems. I ain't fucking with that. You can talk about it. You can be about it. But here's what it is. If you didn't watch him play and you only watch highlights, you'll tell that narrative. If you don't know who Rashad Amos is and you've never watched him play for the last 4 years, you're like, man, all he did was fumble in that App State game. Everybody fumbled. That was my point. Everybody fumbled in the game. But if you're a rookie and you don't know what you're doing, you think that's his whole career. You think that's his whole season. Let me explain something to you guys. When you go to Rashad Amos and you go look at ESPN, it will say 0 fumbles and 0 lost fumbles on his career. I don't know why ESPN does this, but this is the Google generation. I don't know why the information's incorrect. You actually have to go down here and hit see all to see the fumbles. Okay, so that's number 1. Now, the thing he said it doesn't matter how many he lost, or it only matters how many fumbles you lose. No, there's not a coaching staff in the world who doesn't go to film, doesn't make their determinations on depth chart and playing time and carries based upon your inability to carry the ball. Whether or not a teammate bailed your ass out doesn't matter. If you fumble or have a tendency to fumble, that's on you. And you can look at this season and say to yourself, well, why didn't he fumble? Well, I don't know. Maybe the defenders aren't as good. Maybe he's playing against scrubs. Maybe he got better. But you can't sit here and ignore his fumbles. You know why? Because I watched him for years. Let's go back to 2022, just one season earlier. He played in 2 games. He had a total of 2 carries in his career. 2 carries on the season. 1 fumble, 1 fumble loss. It wasn't raining. It was the 4th quarter. He's a scrub. He was like the 3rd or 4th running back off the bench. I have it here. I have the clip. Let's get the receipts. I have him fumbling. No rain. Just fighting for extra yards like a power back does, and fumbling. So while the young man's going to post a clip on Twitter with the rain going and blame it on this and blame it on that, he fumbles in 2 carries. Let's go back. 2021. He didn't even play in 2021. Disregard. He redshirted. 2020. Another fumble against Kentucky in 18 carries. It wasn't lost. It wasn't lost. Somebody else recovered it for him. Somebody else saved his ass. Do you guys understand that is 2 carries or 2 fumbles in 20 carries in 3 years? That is a fumble every 10 carries. If I have a 10% chance of fumbling, there's a problem. There's a problem. And if you ignore that, that's absurd. And I'm telling you why he wasn't starting. And I'm telling you why he got passed on the depth chart. It's all over South Carolina. Now, look. You guys didn't follow him when he was at South Carolina. You didn't pay attention. I did. I read every spring report. I read every practice report. I watch every press conference. If it's on the internet, I consume it. This is my job. I've been doing this for years, not 3 months. I'm not gassing up recruits who go out and tell you all their best parts. I'm telling you, this man fumbled away his opportunity at South Carolina. He has a ball security issue. Now, if he addressed it and got better, I wouldn't doubt that for a second. But I wrote, do your due diligence. Dig deeper. Go watch the film. Do your research before you start gassing. Well, he gets 5 yards a carry. The fastest way to the bench is a turnover. The fastest way to get benched is fumbling the ball, and your receivers got to recover it. And I didn't go for positive yards. So while you sit there and say, well, I got receipts for days, I want to remind you guys of something. Rashad Amos on this post said, I got 180 yards on that ground too, by the way. His season high was in that rain against App State. His season high, the greatest thing he's ever done. He did so good, he convinced himself he's a baller. I'm going to get back in the portal and go back to the Power 5. That's how good he is. You guys, do you know who Abu Sama is? He's the new starting running back for Iowa State. Iowa State. And he was in a running back by committee. But against Kansas State here, he broke out and went for 276, his season career high, just like Rashad Amos. He had an amazing game, and everybody anointed him. And I watched the tape, and I said, oh, no, he's not that good, y'all. He's not that good. Everybody on defense was slipping and sliding and couldn't tackle him. He just so happened to be the only player that could play in those weather conditions. That was a snowy game. No one could stop him, and he rushed for that many yards. Look what he did the next week with the snow gone, with ideal conditions. Now, not next week, next game. Now, we bet on Memphis in that game, by the way. Shout out to the MVPs. We made a killing that week because I knew Memphis would just go out there and score like crazy. I said Memphis is going to put up 35. They put up 36. My point is Rashad Amos, his only highlight that's even worth talking about for me, when you're dominating in the MAC, I'm not impressed. Ask Penny Boone. Ask Stewart. Ask a lot of these guys who are dominating in the MAC. It doesn't move me. I watched you in the SEC for 3 years be a terrible running back. I wanted you to be good. I cheer for every Georgia kid. I wanted you to be good, and you weren't. And you fumbled away your chance. And the only game where you really dominated, and everybody wants to brag about it, is when nobody on defense had good footing. Everybody was slipping and sliding everywhere. That's when you played great. Nobody else could play in the rain, and you could. No one else could stop and tackle you, and you kept running. I'm impressed, bro. Congrats. I'm glad a bum-ass fan page is getting a following and people are listening to it, but listen to me, okay? The name will be irrelevant as soon as Coach Prime leaves Colorado, right? The channel name is Buffed and Prime. That literally doesn't mean anything when the coach leaves. You didn't think enough ahead to be great at what you're doing. You didn't have the foresight. And you didn't have the foresight to understand that a player posting shit like this on Twitter should not impact your assessment of them. You should go and do your due diligence. And stop showing highlights against Akron or against Toledo. Like, stop it, man. Sit down and understand what you're looking at. You're looking at a very dominant player against inferior competition, but when he got to the highest level and he played against the best players, he was a bona fide liability on the field. Bona fide. I invite you to watch the Cincinnati game against Big 12 competition and look how lost he is. You can run, man. You can run. You're big, strong, and you look the part. But this dude would dominate at a combine. Everybody, I see it in the comments. 5 yards a carry, 6'6", 230, 240. Oh my God, look at the way he moves. Bro, I'm telling you, the first fumble that Travis Hunter has to recover, all you guys are going to say, well, he didn't have a lost fumble. No, a fumble is a fucking punt, bro. Like a fumble, I'm not even talking about the turnover. I'm talking about the fact that you won't even gain yards that play. Somebody could get injured. Like, just everything's wrong with it. I want you to think of a quarterback who keeps throwing to defenders and the defenders don't intercept it. Are you okay with it? Well, it wasn't an interception. They didn't catch it. It's not a big deal. It wasn't an interception. No, it's a big deal. It's a huge issue. It'll be the first way you get to the bench. So if you're a running back and you fumble and your teammates recover it, that's not okay. We're not giving him a pass. No, look, man, I watched enough of this young man to know. I watched every carry of his career. You guys watching highlights. I've watched every carry of his career. I'd highly invite you. And I know T-Pain, T-Cal, you watched my live stream. You even mentioned it in your live. Bro, I'll never watch your content. I don't watch other people's content. I don't give a fuck. I create my own stuff and I keep it moving. But I know you watch my live. I'd invite you to come to a Mac Action during the week, join a live stream, watch it with Envy, and understand what the MVPs and I are doing, and understand that I know every player on every team. It's not a game. This isn't a magic trick. I put in the work every day. So when you try to come at me and write something online about a player and all this shit, it's like, dude, I've known this guy. You're telling me about a girl who looks good and I know she's a cheater. You feel me? Like, you're on a dating app, you saw this girl, she looks good, you're telling me everything. I'm like, yo, bro, the last guy she was with, she gave him chlamydia. Like, what are we doing? The analogies might not resonate with you. You might not like it. But the reality is the reality, man. And you guys, you fans who rock with anybody who says something positive about your team, what is your team? The name is Buffed and Prime. What happens when Coach Prime isn't with Colorado anymore? Then the channel's obsolete. It's reality. It's disgusting that people think this is a thing. Fandom is gross, and blind fandom is worse. And I know that sometimes you might talk pragmatically and intelligently and deliver your product in a way that makes people want to rock with you and believe in you because they say, oh, this is an unbiased opinion. But you got it wrong, man. You don't even know the player, and you immediately made your assessment. And I was trying to warn you, don't make that assessment. Like, don't look at a highlight tape and go, sheesh, this man's a train. Oh, my God. Don't do that. Don't. Look, if he was this great when he jumped in the portal in the winter, all the teams with scholarships available and needing running backs would have went and signed them. And they didn't. Mississippi State, who has no running back, who has a new coach, was the only one, and I'm not saying they're the only ones to offer him. I'm saying they're the only ones with a realistic opportunity for him to even play. Like, for him to start. This is not what you think it is. This is not the guy. Nope. And I think very highly of other transfers to Colorado. I speak about it in other videos. I think very highly of. I made my assessment on Rashad Amos before the Colorado was ever mentioned. The receipts are there. Everything's posted. This is not bias. This is not hatred. This is real, man. You guys are wasting energy. And the worst part about it is like you get your little fan base to gas you. And it's just like those girls who have terrible friends and telling them, yeah, leave your man. Like, you guys have no clue who you're arguing with. You have no clue who you're trying to contradict or prove wrong. Like, to get on your live and go, yeah, I got receipts. Like, that's the biggest joke I ever heard, man. You got receipts? You got 20 videos on your account, bro. Like, you got receipts? I have 3,000 receipts. I don't get it wrong. I got receipts for days and days and days and days. It's pathetic, man. It's a joke. Like, you could clap back at somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. I got it, but not me. Not me. That's ridiculous. Learn how to navigate, bruh. That ain't it. You guys are punching in the dark, and you ain't hitting shit. Your friends don't know. By the way, my name is Rico. Rico. It's not short for anything. And if you met me in person, I think we would rock. I think we would have been cool. But the fact that you stepped to me this way, call me out of my name, if we met, chin check, stare at the floor, you wouldn't ever want to exist in my world. I'm a very dangerous person. No threats. I'm just self-proclaiming greatness. You cats ain't on my level, man. You guys are rookies. Yep. You would look at the ground and pretend like you're lost. That's real. All right? So kick it with your people. Stay safe. Shout out to your wife. I saw pictures of her. Congrats, bruh. Don't cheat on her. Your friends don't know. But Rico knows.